Hi, welcome to Angel's Nook. If you like our videos, please like, comment, and especially subscribe so you know when the next one comes out. And if you're commenting, please let us know what you like, what you're interested in, what's helping you, and what you might like to see in the future. Thanks for stopping by. I've done this before, but I've never put it on film. But it's really a extra little thing you can do with HTP to save a favorite pair of shoes. I absolutely love these shoes. They are so incredibly comfortable, but they're starting to, they've cracked here. Some of the outside of it has come off, and so now they're starting to look beat up, but I've still got plenty of sole and tread, and they are one of my favorite shoes because this silvery black gray goes with anything. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with it, and I realized, you may not realize too, that the water-based antiquing gels can be mixed to create other colors. So off camera, I experimented until I mixed the black antiquing and the gunmetal, which is the black antiquing gel and the gunmetal. If you look at the gunmetal by itself, it's too silvery for the shoe. But by adding the black to it, I've got a color that's going to work. Now, because it's a metallic, I'm going to need to periodically stir this to make sure the metallic in the water-based gel stays mixed through this. But the first thing I need to do is any of these loose places, because it's almost like fabric that's on it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it away from my paint, because I don't want that roughness showing up. Or just having little pieces of this sticking out like it is right now. I've done this on another pair of shoes that was I just did plain black with iron gate. And I've been wearing those shoes for another 4 years and they still look brand new. Maybe I'm the only one, but when I find a comfortable pair of shoes, I just hate when they wear out. And this was a pair of shoes that I really wished later that I had bought a second pair of, but I didn't realize how much I was going to like wearing them and how many things I was going to wear them with. Okay, now, get all that off of here. First thing I'm going to do, degloss. And these had already been cleaned, so it's really not a lot of scrubbing to do on it. Because this is a patent leather type finish, I will have to wipe this off well. And pretty amazing that even though I'd already cleaned them, a lot comes off with the Deglosser. On a plain pair of shoes, just a small brush like this would work. But because I've got detailing in here, because I do not want to paint my buckles. I like the contrast of them, and I don't want to cover that up. And I don't want to cover up these brads. So I have two other size brushes. A small art detail brush and another small brush that's flat that's going to allow me to get into the spaces. And I also have a cut piece of true applicator and a wet paper towel so that I can get anything off of this, and look at how beautifully that matches. I'm not going to wipe this back because I want a full coat of this on here. Just happen to think, if you have a pair of shoes that you don't like the color. Besides this, if you wanted a metallic type patent leather look on a pair of shoes, this would be perfect to do that. Or just use the paint to change your shoes to the color you want. But because this small brush is getting in here very nicely for me, I'm not going to have to worry about wiping this off of these because I'm not getting anything onto it. But better safe than sorry, have that damp paper towel, that wet paper towel handy. This is a slick surface, so I'm going back to smooth that because you have what is called open work time with the antiquing gels. So you can use your brush on them longer. That's what allows you to wipe them back. That's what allows them to have that translucent quality. And since they like to be translucent, I'm needing to work a little more carefully with my brush to get the coverage that I want. This is perfectly covering those areas of damage. And my brush is very lightly touching this surface when I'm doing the smoothing. When I'm applying, it's going right down on the surface, but when I'm smoothing it, it's a very light touch. Otherwise, you start to lift it right back up. And if you notice, my brush is going under these buckles. The flat end of my brush is against the buckle. And that keeps me from getting it up onto the buckle. And then go back and smooth that. And looking at this, I'm also going to do the top part of these before I go in to do the main body of this. Same thing along these edges here. I don't want to go down on that sole. I don't want anybody to know these are painted. And if I get it all over the base of that sole, it's going to show that that's what was done. This little brush is working so well that it may be what I use over this whole thing. But I have the other brushes handy to use them. I'm going to try the pouncing with the true applicator, but I think I'm going to like it just with the brush, but nope, it's doing what I need. Wow. I'm happy. Do the front edge of this other shoe and then these side pieces. I think it will go faster the other way with the larger brush. Very, very light pounces because the antiquing gel wants to come off. Got a spot right here that I'm using the damp paper towel to pull that off that edge. I accidentally rubbed the shoe itself, so take care of it with the true applicator. Now I'm going to put my hand on the inside I'm going to use this small brush along the edges. Yes, I know where I put the brush. It was more convenient. I really want to get good coverage where those spots. And if you notice, I'm going a different direction on this back piece because that's how it was originally cut. When you're stippling, make sure you're not getting down on the sole, or pay attention that if it got there, get it off with a wet paper towel. thread that I missed. Use the Deglosser to get that off my scissors. And put a little bit more paint right there. Sorry, antiquing gel. There's a spot right there. Sole. I almost missed getting underneath here. I waited to do this top edge last, so it would be so easy to just get all into it with my hand and wind up with gel inside the shoe too, which I do not want. This one, get that back side that I missed. And one of my favorite pairs of shoes is ready for years more of wear. This is the pair of shoes that I painted with Iron Gate 5 years ago, and these things get worn multiple times a week because they're quick slip-ons and they are so comfortable. But you can see that that finish is still perfect. It's been in snow and sleet when we visited kids up north. It's been in puddles here. It's been out with me working in the garden when I just grabbed the quickest pair of shoes I could find to do some planting. I've worn these, and look at how they're wearing. And they're easy to clean. You just wipe them down and dirt comes right off of them. So, go have some fun with HTP and paint a pair of shoes, because this stuff goes on anything. It's flexible, and that's why it can handle material like this. I'm not going to bend these because they're still wet, because it flexes, and when it dries, this is still wet, but this is dry, it flexes, and these areas get hit all the time, doesn't crack. Love this stuff.